Today, I'm reviewing one that I find very exciting. It's an author that I've been reading since I was a teenager and first discovered him, and I've loved every second of reading his books. And I thoroughly enjoyed reading this book earlier in the year. It is Cemetery World by Clifford Simak. Simak seems to be an author that hardcore sci-fi readers, or hardcore classic sci-fi readers at least, know him reasonably well, but he's often underregarded, and he shouldn't be. He was a great author. He died in the late 80s, unfortunately. Every single one of his books is beautiful. I've seen him called pastoral writers because he isn't a flashbang exciting writer, but his books always include a lot of thoughtful scenes. There's often a journey. There's very much a quest style scenario in this one, as there was in the first one of his I read, which was Enchanted Pilgrimage. They're just really, really well written as well. There aren't too many writers who can make every word and sentence and paragraph hold together and be beautiful, and Simak always could. Never disappoints. So in Cemetery World, he postulates a future world where humans have left Earth radioactive and burnt out, and wars have decimated it, and people have moved into the stars. But people have been moving into the stars even before they managed to completely wreck the Earth, so there's plenty to move to. This is one of those widespread galaxies where you've got all different ranges of human population. You've got outpost planets, you've got lots of systems inhabited, you've got core worlds and civilizations that have got high levels of education, civilization, all that sort of thing. And you've got Cemetery World. The Earth has been taken over by a corporation. It moved in after the radioactivity died down, though there's still meant to be spots that are radioactive, and acquired it as a corporation in which people can be buried. It is just what it's called. It is a corporation that arranges for your loved ones to be shipped from the furthest reaches of the galaxy to be buried on Cemetery World. It's very expensive, of course, and very exclusive. So if your Frontier World family decides to send Granny to Cemetery World for her final resting place, the chances are that they're hocking 2 or 3 generations to pay for it. But Cemetery World is a huge corporation, has got the brochures, and it's got the representatives on all the Earth that sell this idea to people in the same way that people today get sold the idea of a timeshare apartment and how wonderful it'll be. Onto this world steps our main character, Fletcher Carson. Fletcher Carson is an artist from one of the core planet worlds, and his type of art is never all that heavily described, but it sounds fascinating and I want to see some. So he makes compositions. Compositions weave together lots of different factors, the actual visuals, the sight, sound, movies, but they also weave in other things like sense of doom or music, or a whole heap of different factors that go to an experience, and they turn that into an artwork. It's explained in small bits, but it's never a huge focus. In order to do one of these, the artist has to build a compositor, and that's a very personal affair. You don't go down to the art store and buy them, you build your own for the purpose. While Fletcher Carson is building his back on his home university world, a machine, android, and one of those, machine, let's go with machine, comes and sits down with him. The machine is an AI, and he wants to help him because he was built on Earth as a war machine, and he's been traveling the galaxy for ages, and he wants to go back. So he helps Fletcher build his compositor, and then the 3 of them embark on this ship to go to Cemetery World. Now, Cemetery World isn't easy to get to. The only ships that go there belong to the corporation. The only people who go there are corporation people, people who are about to be interred, and occasionally small parties of historical investigation people who at an astronomical cost can stay in the very few hostels designated for them. Now, Fletcher plans to leave all this behind and go hiking into the countryside to build his compositions. The first hurdle he has to get over is an interview with the Cemetery World director, who also fails to really comprehend what sort of artwork Fletcher's going to be making, but he isn't happy about it. He tries to buy Fletcher off with saying that Cemetery World itself employs many artists and would you like to make a composition for them? No, says Fletcher, I'm not interested in making an artwork about the cemetery business. I want to make an artwork about the world. Oh, he's told, but there's nothing out there. It's all dead and radioactive. So he manages to get past that, and that's a bit of an exciting, we are now fleeing from the corporation type scenario. I enjoyed it. As he's on the way to recover Elmo and the compositor, he meets the other character. And what is her name? Eleanor? I think it's Eleanor. Oh, come on, I must have written it down. Maybe I didn't. Cynthia, there we go. Eleanor, Cynthia. Okay, Cynthia Lansing believes she's found keys to a treasure that's on Earth. And Fletcher Carson has heard of this treasure, but he's not really interested. He's just interested in his composition. She left their world after him, but arrived first, and she's been waiting for him to head off into the great unknown with him. Her knowledge assists in getting them away from the cemetery corporation that wants to stop them. They tried to block Alma from coming on in the saying that no machines are allowed on the planet, but Alma has been registered as AI, an autonomous individual, for a long time, so they can't stop him. Anyway, they head off into the great unknown, and they obviously find that it's far from dead. There's remnant survivors of the wars that never left the planet, living in small village type situations. They're constantly pursued by Cemetery World and by other random facts which they only discover about later. It's a really, really exciting story, but it's excitement of the mild sort. You're interested and you're invested and you want to read more, but you're also enjoying every page. You don't want it to end. And the ending is truly trippy, wild, and unforeseen. You couldn't foresee that. In fact, I'm not even sure I can hindsight foresee it. It's like it's nothing one could understand. But as well as the notion of traveling through the world and seeing it beautifully, this book explores lots of key characteristics of humanity and possible future. And one gets the sense that Simak didn't really like corporations all that much, so that's kind of fun. Overall, it's a great book. It's very visually attractive. It makes pretty scenes in your head. You've got random war remnants. You've got, it's just really lush, gorgeous book. Classic sci-fi. Thoroughly recommend it to anyone who enjoys sci-fi. In many regards, this book has dated very, very little. First published in Great Britain in 1975, so it was copyright 1972. It's not as old as some of them, but it feels very contemporary. It could have been, with a few different modifications, it could have been written yesterday. Thoroughly recommend. If you love classic sci-fi, go for this Simak, if not another one. Maybe go for all of them. Perhaps I should reread them all.